Y'all, what was this finale? What was this? I can't even put it all off on the castmates because really, truly original, y'all are responsible for this season as well. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Bonnie Scotch. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I wanted to bring you a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16, episode 17, the season finale. Click and drag into the trash bin. Click and drag. Okay, that's how I feel about this one. So before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button for me. When you hit the like button, it is a free way to support the channel and also let YouTube know that I'm here and that you all are rocking with my commentary, so YouTube starts to shoot my content out to other viewers, okay? So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So you know how they do those flashbacks of, the season as a whole on the season finale. I am so happy that the producers showed that clip of Shamia simulating oral. Let's go ahead and put a pin in that one. Just put a pin in it, okay? So the episode starts off with Phaedra, Portia, and Lauren. Now, they are talking about Lundy and how they grew up together and just reminiscing on some memories that they have with her. Apparently, Lauren was actually on the phone with Lundy when she went into distress. I don't know exactly what happened. I'll also say this. I saw people in that hashtag and somebody in the comments asking, well, do we know how she passed? I haven't seen them on the show mention it, and I haven't seen it mentioned online. So I would imagine that the family does not want to share how they passed, and I think that that should be respected. I also think it's a little insensitive to ask somebody how somebody passed away. All you need to know is that they went on to glory. You know what I'm saying? And just try to be supportive as you can. Anyway, I mean, of course, like, we're all curious, but I think it's just like out of order to ask a family member that, or to just like openly speculate about it online. I just think it's kind of like, in poor taste. Not coming for anybody or anything like that. But anyway, I'm just saying. Anyway, why was Phaedra sitting there looking like Edna Mode from The Incredibles? In the next scene, we have Angela linking up with her therapist. Baby, when I tell you Bust Down Angela is my favorite Angela, I love her with the bust down. She just looks so damn good. Now, I don't really care for a lot of the therapists that come onto these shows, but I really like this one. I feel like she is really present with Angela, and I don't feel like she's a clout chaser. She just seems like a very real person. No shade to Angela or anything. She's a beautiful woman, but the dress that she wore to her therapy session is probably the reason why people think that she is in her 50s. It's very much a dress that my mom would wear. She's in her 50s, so there are certain things that I'm like, yeah, that is something that my mom would wear. She's a woman of a certain age. They wear certain things. They're going to go to Nordstrom Rack and they're going to, what's that brand? They're going to put on the Eileen Fisher. They're going to put on the, what is it? The Lafayette and all of that stuff. Like it gives that, like the style of it was just very, anyway, let me move on. I know y'all don't like me talking about Angela. I love Angela, but I know y'all don't like me to say things about her. Y'all going to tell me to leave her alone.
Leave her alone!
All officers!
Leave her alone! Leave her alone!
Get her out of here!
Leave her alone! Leave her alone! Leave her alone, all of you!
So the whole thing about this therapist session, to me, is pretty much based around the fact that the ghost of Charles's infidelities continue to haunt their relationship. Yes, he's very successful, he's famous, he's good looking, but there was a period in time where he lacked impulse control, and Angela still has to go through the pain of public humiliation and embarrassment because her husband ran around on her. And I think it's just sad. I like Angela. I want her to be happy. I don't think that dating like an athlete or a rapper, a baller, anybody of that social or financial status is easy. I saw a couple of reviewers saying that she came on the show so that she could potentially leave him. She ain't leaving that nigga. But I want y'all to be serious for a second and really think about this, okay? Angela wouldn't even leave her first baby daddy for having a side baby. So much so that she went up to the Wendy Williams and told her, it's just a baby, stay with that man. Hello? So she was never going to leave Charles. Like, obviously she's not okay with him cheating, but, you know, a lot of people feel like that is something that comes with the life. You know, men having access to all of these women, and, you know, a lot of the women just take it for what it is. They take it on the chin. This is the whole reason that I would never date an athlete if I was presented with opportunity. I mean, never take them seriously. Like, we're going to go down the road of marriage. Not everybody is Russell Wilson after all, okay? In the next scene, we have Shamia and her background vocalist rehearsing this tired-ass, begging-ass song. I'm waiting up with your t-shirt on. Girl, shut up. By the way, I like that Drew is throwing shade at Shamina in her confessionals, because Shamina has been shading Drew and her music all season for no reason. And guess what? I still keep going back to Drew's music. Spin the Block. When I tell you Spin the Block is my cut, that gets regular plays around here. It's so sexy and cute. Like, my only gripe about Spin the Block by Drew is that it's not long enough. Like, I wanted like a little bridge. I wanted a bridge on there. Like, that's how much I love that song. And usually when songs are like a little bit on the shorter side, I don't really care. I'm like, you know, that's what the artist felt like they needed to do. But Spin the Block was short. I still love I Got 5 on it. I still love Single Again. Like, Drew has some bangers. Okay, Shamia put out a video for Never Had. I had never even listened to that whole song in its entirety until I watched the video. About the video, you know what?
I do not want to comment.
Why? Why?
The girls show up to this theater to support Shamia at her showcase. Brittany comes in and says hello to everybody except for Kelly. And I said, good girl, good for you. Kelly is still harping on the fact that she supported Britt and Brittany didn't support her. Well, girl, you sat there and dragged her in front of everybody and tried to little girl her in front of everybody. So it was fuck you after that. I don't get what's so hard to comprehend. You don't get to talk shit to me and then we never fully made up on it. And then I turn around and support you. You can kiss my ass and paint a house. Girl, please. Shamia had about 8 outfit changes and all of them were busted, but I do still want to give a huge shout out to Shamia for following her passions and really being dedicated to her artistry. That is nothing easy to do, okay? She's following her dreams, and for that reason, I'm here for Shamia. Now, why does Shamia have on that big ass, stupid ass hat? Did y'all notice that Shamia's energy is very sexually charged all of the time? Her husband came up on the stage to give her flowers, and instead of her saying, thank you, baby, I love you, I appreciate you, she said, you know what you're going to get when you get home, and then she stuck her tongue out. And you know, she kind of has a long tongue, and obviously she knows it. So she let her tongue hang down to the bottom of her chin. She exhibits very whore-like behavior.
The behavior that you exhibited was whore-like. The whore jumped out, and then it jumped back in.
So let's go ahead and put a pin in that one too, okay? Y'all, can I also say how good Angela looked in that bodycon dress? Angela is telling the girls about her throwing this gala, and Brittany mentioned that Kelly's page had jumped up to 80,000 followers. I don't even remember how they got on that conversation. But anyway, Kelly is like, you know, saying to Drew, oh, she's stalking my page. Girl, you can't even speak back to the person that's speaking to you directly. Why can't you address her? You are passive aggressive as fuck, girl. Exactly what she said about you is true. Then we have Shamia explaining that she sent flowers to Portia and she called because their family. Yeah, duh. I mean, you're going to be doing this little begging dance to try to get back in her good graces because you know that Britt aired you out. Listen, you're doing something that any friend would do, but I don't know why you're going out of your way to point it out like, oh, we're family and oh, I gotta do that for her. Like, girl, yeah. Like, that's something any friend would do, but we know that you feel guilty about the stuff that you revealed to Britt, so I feel like you're trying to put a little bit of extra sauce on it. So anyway, Shamina walks over to Britt and she brings up how Cynthia came to her and told her, hey, Portia knows that you shared this information with Brittany. By the way, Brittany looked really pretty with that. She had like a little bit of green eyeliner under her eye. The makeup was really nice. And I like this bob on her. Like, it's a really good bob. So anyway, Shamea gets to lying and denying. We have seen Shamina lie before. She said that she was meeting up with Ralph to speak about business. And then later on in some interview, she confirmed that she was actually helping Portia get her lick back. She sat up in that girl's face, lied and gaslighted her, and said she wasn't shading her when they were on vacation in Grenada, when she was very clearly throwing digs at her because nobody else at the table had a donation that they did not approve of. So Shamea is a known liar. So Brittany says, did you get a chance to see your daughter when you got to Miami? And Shamea says, don't bring up my daughter. Don't bring up my daughter. So she's using the fact that she merely mentioned her daughter to deflect from the fact that she did, in fact, share information that Portia shared with her. And I know you had that conversation with her, and her saying, hey, did you see your daughter, is really her questioning your parenting. It is not her saying anything about your daughter. I know at the top of the season, you tried to start this hate train about, oh, she talked about my daughter. I never fell for it. Even at that time, I say, you know what? I bet she's making a comment on your parenting and it has nothing to do with the child in all actuality. And I'm right again. I saw a lot of people in the hashtag saying, oh, I would have beat her ass for, saying this about my daughter. She did not talk about the daughter. And this is how I know a lot of y'all lack comprehension skills. Even Jeremy Speaks made mention of the fact that she seems like she can't just, turn it on and turn it off. 1 minute she's heaving, she's crying, she's falling out. And then it's like, all right, shots, shots, shots. Y'all know what my mom said about her, catching her up on the show. You know what she said about Shamea? She said, Shamea has big dick energy. And it just made me laugh so hard the first time she said it because it's true. Why didn't you go straight home to your daughter? I asked this in the last review as well, if you were so distraught and broken up. Brittany is essentially saying the same thing. And now, oh, she's talking about my child. Girl. Now, why you didn't go straight home to your daughter was odd to me. It's not like you need the money. It's not like you're your friend Kelly, who actually needs the money and needed to be on that Grenada trip because mama got to work. She got 4 kids. That's a perfect segue into Kelly because in the next scene, we have Kelly with her kids and her sister. She says it has not been easy trying to get her Sandy Springs location open. Did y'all see Kelly pour some of that Kahlua down into her iced coffee? Every time I see her, she want to do shots, 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 shots. She's doing shots with no hands. She's throwing them back. She wants a glass of wine. She says, oh, I'm a wine mom. Girl is giving alcoholic. In the next scene, we have Ralph and Drew. He is asking Drew, how did we get here, Ralph?
Get out. Will you get out? You want somebody?
Don't piss me off. Now, can y'all tell me why is Ralph saying that the judge said that he can't take the kids to school? So Drew has to be the only one to take the kids to school and also leave the house on the weekends? Like I said before, this judge hates women and they need to be removed from the courts, okay? Because this parental agreement makes absolutely no sense. So in this next scene, we have Phaedra and Shay. Now remember, Shay was introduced to us on Married to Medicine with Phaedra. She met him, allegedly, at the speed dating event, but obviously they knew each other prior to the speed dating event because he said that he knew and was friends with Apollo. He used to be at Apollo's house for Thanksgiving dinner with his ex-wife and all those things. So, of course, Phaedra is familiar with this man. Anyway, I mean, she's always lying. This is another lie that she told us, by the way. In the next scene, we have Britt at her house with her husband and her Tyler Perry family. I really warmed up to Brittany, but I still be reading her a little bit. I didn't like her at the top of the season, but then I ended up really liking her, so it is what it is. Yes, she is a little unhinged. Yes, she's a liar. Yes, she's bad for business, but most of the housewives are, after all. All of them are liabilities. Look at Portia. She's still on the show. Phaedra still on the show. Anyway, did y'all see Brittany's sister over there at the table sitting next to Mike's sister? Baby, when I tell you, Cher was lit up like a Christmas tree. Go back and look at her face. Baby, when I tell you she was drunk, boots, and stoned. Anyway, now we are at Angela's charity event, her gala. I have to say, Brittany's outfit was so sickening, baby. It was like, it was just completely beaded. You know those, I don't even know what they're called, but they're like long, kind of like long skinny beads. Like, you know the amount of work that it took to like individually bead that, and then it had like a cutout, like a little peekaboo in the front. It was so puss. Angela looked so sickening in that black dress, and she had some cutouts too, and one piece was going this direction, and it was just very interesting, and it had some silver rhinestone trim, but it still looked very classy and very expensive. Portia had on a gold dress, and it came up, and it kind of had this, kind of went off the shoulders a little bit. Baby, when I tell you Portia looked so damn nasty in that dress, I say you better go ahead, Portia. Now, Shamea was looking a fool, as per usual, because why does she have on a corset with chains on it and a hoodie attached? It was like medieval times, apocalypse, around the way, girl. Like, girl, what? The fact that she had that damn hood on at the dinner table. Angela and Charles are up at the mic. Angela goes up there, and I was really surprised that in all of the honorees, they decided to honor Portia that night in connection with Hosea Williams. I don't even understand why Portia was honored. She clearly didn't really know about the work of Hosea Williams, her own family member. She didn't know that the Underground Railroad was not, in fact, a choo-choo train, but okay, sure. And then she calls Portia up there. And she also says that Portia is one of her new friends. And it's like, girl, she threatened to screw your husband. And then on the Carlos King interview, yeah, I saw the Carlos King interview, and I took notes on it. I was going to review it, but I know y'all are Angela fans, and I had a lot to say that I knew that y'all would not like. Anyway, she was saying in the Carlos King interview, because Carlos was asking her, do y'all think that, or do you think that you can ever be friends, have a friendship with her? And she was like, I think Portia is cool. She's a fun girl, but there's going to be a limit to that, because she actually said those words out her mouth. She actually threatened to screw my husband. And it's always going to be something that is in the back of my mind. You know, like, I see you for your works. I know how you are. The fact that you even let that come out of your mouth. Y'all can go and watch the interview y'allself. Angela said all of that. And so for her to honor her, you know, in the month or the year prior. So I was confused about her honoring her and calling her her friend. Her new friend when she came up, and then on Carlos King, she was like, oh, we can never really be friends. But all right, sure. Portia did mention Lundy up there and her charity work. So I wonder if it was in connection with Lundy. I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand. But Portia starts crying at the table. After she gets back to the table, all of the girls get up to console her. And I cannot stress how ugly and stupid this outfit is that Shamea has on. Baby, when I tell you, this thing is absolutely fucking hideous. They were like chains. It's like gold and then like copper chains. And I think I saw some black. I said, what the fuck is this? Shamea says that her intentions have always been good and pure. She wants nothing but the best for Portia. Girl, shut up. You was dogging Portia out to anybody who would listen. You was. And when you do that, I don't think people realize it, but when you talk about people like that, that kind of gossip, that's mal de ojo. That's evil eye. Y'all were doing it to each other, meanwhile. Now, I don't put the friendship fallout on Shamea. I don't. She cannot shoulder all of the blame for this. I would put a lot of it on Portia. But I know that Shamea is an exhausting person just based off of what I have seen this season of her. All of the girls are having a sit down, and Angela is explaining to all of the girls what happened at Kelly's event. Because remember, everybody wasn't there. Brittany, Portia, and Cynthia were not there. So Angela mentioned that it was odd that this happened at Kelly's event. So Angela played this game where she was kind of going around the room and implying that it was maybe Kelly, maybe it was Britt, right? And Brittany was like, well, it definitely wasn't me because, you know, I'm a married woman, would never do that to you. So then you see Shamea and Kelly off on the side, nudging each other's elbows quietly. You know when you're out with a friend and you see or you hear something outrageous and y'all start to nudge each other or y'all start to tap each other's foot? I don't know why they were doing that. This guy who's bald-headed right here, Mark, shows up in this dingy ass suit. It just looked dusty and dingy again. Charles pulls up immediately. Charles, I don't even know where the fuck Charles came from. And Charles is a big ass man. By the way, when they first walked into the event, did y'all see how Charles was walking in? Charles kind of walks like Annalise Keating. But anyway, he walked up hard and fast on that man. He's a physically imposing man. I don't know. How tall is Charles Oakley? Oh, you're kidding. Y'all, they're saying that Charles is 6'9". Whoa, that changes things. Because I thought it was given like a little 6'5" tease. 6'9" is crazy. So the man walks off and Charles goes after him and she's yelling. She's like, Charles, no, you have to trust me. Marcus is explaining, you know, I apologize to Angela. And Angela is like kind of like touching him right here. And Charles is like, don't touch him. And that's how I felt too, because y'all know I think this man looks dirty. So I'm like, don't touch that dirty ass man. He looks like a bum. I don't even know how he has a restaurant. When he said, oh, I saw your man at my restaurant, I thought he was lying about that. Because surely nobody who owns a restaurant will be looking that dusty and dingy, walking around with a dirty ass, wrinkled ass t-shirt. And y'all know how I feel about men in dirty t-shirts. Charles pointed in the man's face and said, you know what? You're lucky. And that's all I'm going to say. I said, oh my God, did y'all see how big Charles's finger was when he pointed in his face? After a while, Charles is pretty much like, fuck all of this. He takes his mic off, he leaves, and then Marcus sits down with the ladies. He says, there is somebody in this circle who is not happy with Angela. And then he says, it was Phaedra. And then she makes this face. You know the faces that she makes. She says, what are you talking about? He says Phaedra is the godfather in Atlanta and she controls Atlanta. She says that she has no reason to put anybody up to this nonsense. She lied on Candy and acted like she didn't do it. And then to sit up here and act like she doesn't know what this man is talking about. Phaedra says that she has no reason to put anybody up to this nonsense. Mind you, we have seen Phaedra lie on TV already. So for her to sit up there and act like she wouldn't go this far, and she's acting like she doesn't know what the hell this man is talking about. I have seen this play out before. Many, many years ago. The man said Phaedra pulled up with an envelope. Portia is saying that Phaedra has been framed. Portia, please shut your ass up, because you were a part of the first framing that she was setting up. So back in the day, when you were telling and perpetuating those lies, it was like, oh, Phaedra framed me. She made me say it. She made me believe. So now is Phaedra's being framed? So first it was you being framed, but now it's Phaedra? Anyway, this man mentioned somebody named Junebug, and I just completely checked out at that moment. I said, this is nonsense. Y'all need to shut down production. Just shut it down. That's enough. Then we had this man, as a sidebar, going back and forth on Twitter, you know, saying that it wasn't Phaedra. And then, you know, people were pulling receipts on him. And, you know, they pulled up him on the SEX offender registry. The fact that Phaedra knows an SEX offender, the fact that Phaedra would bring this man around should really tell y'all something. Why does she know SEX offenders?
It's an evil world we live in.
Why is she employing SEX offenders? Now, this whole time that this man was going back and forth and Angela had did her interview airing out Phaedra and saying that this man told her that it was Phaedra, Phaedra has never once said anything to clear her name. She never spoke up. She probably feels like if I just be quiet, like this will go away. Girl, I know you did this. Last episode, in my last review, I said this has Phaedra written all over it, and then Angela confirmed it. I believe it. Angela stood up and gave a little monologue talking about in The Godfather, they say be wary of the person that brings you information. And Angela had this whole moment that really just did not land for me, this whole speech. Y'all, my eyes glazed over and I checked out again. When I tell y'all, I hated this finale so bad. I really did. Anyway, Phaedra tells her that she needs to worry about that foreclosure. So how do you know about this woman's business? And this is not tea, by the way. This is something that Angela has shared with us. But how do you know that? You're digging into her business and being nasty and shady. You were looking for a reason to throw that at her. In the same way, you orchestrated that man coming down there to embarrass her, because I'm sure that Portia called you on the phone and said, Big Bad Angela is bothering me. She didn't like that I said that I would fuck her husband. And then Phaedra came running over from Married to Medicine and devised this little plan. And, you know, she had to do her villain dastardly deed, because it would not be Phaedra if she didn't. I think it's fucked up, because let's entertain the idea that Charles really has cleaned up his act and he's not cheating anymore, and then you go and dig up these old wounds for no reason. It's actually kind of fucking unhinged. Listen, I'm not saying that Portia had anything to do with this, but you know how Frack is about Frick? Anyway, Shamea starts being passive aggressive and talking to Kelly, saying, oh, my kid was brought up the other day. Brittany is just sitting there looking checked out. She says, I didn't say that she was faking it. She goes on to try to explain herself, right? Shamea is saying, oh, I walked away because I wanted to beat her ass. And Britt is like, is that a threat? And then Shamea starts leaning over and pointing to her and threatening her. She just looked really checked out, Brittany that is, and she got up and she walked away and she looked over it. And Shamea was sitting there with her mouth all twisted up. If you were going to beat her ass, then you would have just done it. Don't talk about how you're going to beat somebody's ass. Like, just do it. Then she's going to bring up something from 17 episodes ago, talking about, oh, she threatened Kenya. Girl, what does that have to do with you? And did y'all clock how Shamea called her a whore when she got up? Shamea, you exhibit very whore-like behavior, and I'm glad that the producers showed you pretending that you were simulating sucking a little bit of dick. You're always jumping up on bars, tooting that ass up, arching your back. You conduct yourself like a woman who's very single. In the confessional just last week or the week before last, the last episode or the episode before that, you had your ankles up to your ears in the confessional. For what? For what reason? To the point where production had to blur out your vagina. Out of order. Very whore-like behaviors and activities. Now, when Brittany, at the top of the season, got her ankles up to her ears, remember when I told y'all that if you're not a can-can dancer, and if you're not a rockette, and you're just out somewhere, and those ankles go up to those ears, people are going to think that you're selling cat. So, Shamea, was that a cat advertisement in the confessional? Because you're a married woman. But hey, I guess Gerald likes it, honey. He likes it, I love it. But I just think it's funny how you want to jump up to call somebody a whore when you exhibit more whore-like behavior or just as much as Brittany. You're the bestie of the self-proclaimed princess of Thoughtlandia. And I see in the next episode that Portia, or, you know, during the reunion, Portia's going to be airing you out a little bit. Remember whenever, you know, Phaedra was saying that Candy, Todd, and Shamea, you know, Portia was like, well, she does hang out with them a lot. Giving an implication, because Portia knows your business. She knows your whole facts. She knows what your ass been up to because y'all was hoeing together. So anyway, we closed the episode out with Portia back in her house, the house that she and Simon got together. And isn't it so sickening after 5 months of filming? And in the very last episode in the season finale, in the last 2 minutes of the finale, Portia is back filming in her house and mentioning Simon again. And clinking teacups with Miss Diane. Well done, Portia. Welcome back. You're sweet 16. You gave us so much of nothing. Shout out to you, Portia. Anyway, y'all, that was the season finale. I really did not care for it. I did not enjoy it that much. You know, I thought it was a weak way to end the season because I felt like it started off so strong. That was the episode. Go ahead and hit the like button on your way out. Get down in the comments with me. Let me know how you felt about this one. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting. And I will see y'all for the next one. Peace.
Question is why I do the things I do. Answer I may never find, but love